you've mentioned Chuck Graham, so what would you say are the biggest differences between you and Chuck Graham as far as policies?
Well, obviously, as I mentioned previously, I'm a lawyer, and I've been involved in some very contentious cases, some very high-profile, high-dollar cases, and also very emotional cases such as the murder cases. In every one of those cases, you've got to bring your best game to every case that you have. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to be professional. You have to know what tools to use at the right time. And the biggest issue is you have to be persuasive. Because if you can't be persuasive, you go down to Jeff City and you've got a lot of senators and representatives with their own interests. They can be persuaded to see the importance of certain issues and the benefits of certain things to them, but you have to have the ability to persuade them of the benefits of a given project. I think Chuck Graham lacks that ability. I think that the filibuster, for example, which he's filibustered, I think, in just about every session that he's been in his 12 years in Jefferson City, the filibuster is one tool, but it's the tool of last resort. It's the tool that after you have exhausted all your other options to get what you need to get for your constituents, you may have to use that tool. But you don't jump to that tool. Anyone who prides themselves on their ability to kill things, in my opinion, is trying to compensate for their inability to actually get things done. And a good example would be on the $85 million. I know that Senator Graham came back to the district and he said, you know, I killed this project because there were things I didn't like about it. But killing it is not the question. The question is, what did you do to get it? Can you come back to the district and say, I was up till 4 in the morning meeting with this group and this group and this group. I tried to put, you know, this man together with this woman who represent these different interests and get them to discuss this issue so that we can move forward. Where is that? It doesn't exist because no effort was made in that regard to do that. So you can come back and say, I killed this, but that should never be the question. The question should be, what did you do to bring this to the district? And the answer to that question is nothing. And that also is another reason that I'm running for this race.
How would you work across the aisle to build a consensus, to get people to cooperate and work together?
Well, I think when you get to some of the contentious issues, there's enough blame to go around on both sides. But I do firmly believe that there are reasonable people in the General Assembly. And I think, frankly, there are a lot of reasonable people who are kind of disenfranchised and looking for other reasonable people to reach out to form maybe a coalition of reasonable people. I don't know quite what that would be called. But I think that, again, you just have to have the ability to reach out to those people. Because most of these issues transcend political lines. You know, you're going to find a lot of Republicans who are diehard supporters of the university, but you're going to find just as many diehard Democrats who are hardcore supporters of the university. And you're going to find, for example, in the General Assembly, graduates of this university from all over the state. There are a lot of common interests there that no effort was made to unite to get that project. And the reason that project is so important is it kind of was one of those once-in-a-lifetime deals, one of the biggest projects of its type in the university's history. So again, you know, it's different from maybe a line item, you know, $500,000 project or $1 million project, which may go one way or another. I mean, it was a make or break project, which was on the table. The General Assembly was going to give it to the district, and it was lost as a result of the actions of Chuck Graham.
Okay, and I think I just have one last thing here. We still have, gosh, I guess about a little less than 6 weeks now to the election. So how have you been running your campaign thus far, and how is that reflective of what you would do?
Well, I got to tell you, I've lived in Columbia for 25 years, and you know, I've got a lot of friends who are Republicans, and I got a lot of friends who are Democrats. In my political views, most people will tell you I'm very moderate, and again, in my campaign, I'm getting a lot of support from both sides. And I think in large part that's because of the people who have known me for 20, 25 years, but also the people who I meet and discuss issues with, I think see in me the ability to be reasonable and be professional. And I certainly talk about those issues everywhere I go, because I think those are the tools that I bring to this discussion. And I think those are the exact tools that we need for the project of leading us into the next 4 years of turning around some of the, you know, the losses that we've sustained in the General Assembly.
Okay. That's all I have. Do you have anything else you want to add? Anything I'm leaving out?
Oh, my website, I would
Okay.
mention that. My website, it's www.schaefer4senate.com, and that's SCHAEFERFORSENATE.com. And I would certainly encourage everyone to look at it and see my position on various issues that are facing the district, including sustainable energy, which is another big issue for me. I'm predominantly an energy and environment lawyer. There are a lot of us in the field who have been interested in new energy technologies for years and years, and I think the timing is perfect, especially with the ballot initiative coming up in November for sustainable portfolio for some private investor-owned utilities. Those are key issues, so I would certainly encourage everyone to go to the website, look at those issues, and to please vote for me November 4th.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate your time.
Great, thank you very much.